This is I Should Be Writing, Season 21, Episode 20.
Well, I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
And hi there. Welcome to I Should Be Writing. This is a podcast for anybody who's a writer or a creative person who needs a little bit of support and comfort for when you doubt yourself or doubt your career or doubt your abilities or anything, doubts. So that's what I do here. My name is Mer Lafferty, and I've just published my 8th or 9th book. Why can't I ever remember that number? I can't ever remember the number, whether it's 8 or 9. Let me count. Let's see. I had 2 with Orbit and then 1 more with Orbit. Then I had 2 tie-ins. That's 5. Then I had 3, so that's 8. I recently published my 8th book called Infinite Archive. It is a space murder mystery. It is 3rd in the series, but I hoped I wrote it in a way that you could follow along if you want to pick up the pink one with the cats on it, because I think people really like the pink one with the cats on it. It's very eye-catching. No, I don't have one with me to show you. Why do you ask? Yeah, I do this podcast. I try to go weekly, but haha, it's been 20 years. Who the hell am I fooling? I do the podcast when I can. I have guests on when I can. Sometimes they don't show up, and sometimes I have to cancel on them. So it's a big karmic thing. Do want to say one book that just came out is The Princess Knight by Cait Jacobs, and I was going to have Cait on last month, or earlier this month, but unfortunately I got too panicked about my book and couldn't think about anything else, so we put it off. The book is now out. You guys will love it, because on the back it says, "Love is a battlefield and blondes duel it better." Y'all love your puns. Yes, so hopefully we'll have Cait on to talk about The Princess Knight. If you want to pick it up now, it's available. And, yeah, so I finished a book last week. And it was the typical finishing of the book where I wrote for a very long time, for a number of days in a row, and kind of burned myself out, but I got it mostly done. There's still some things to tie up at the end. I am fully aware of that. I have a problem with my antagonist, and here's the kind of thing that always bugs me about being a writer and a reader, because I want to talk to people about the problems I'm having at the end, and I want to talk to people, when we talk about books and writing here, we always talk about beginnings and characterizations and climaxes and stuff, but we don't talk about the ends because we don't want to spoil anything. I did try to do a series during the pandemic about, it was a spoilers club kind of thing where everyone had to read the book and we get the author on to talk about it, but it didn't go very far, and that's probably me because I have ADHD and I run around chasing butterflies all the time. But I finished it. And after that, it's been various things like getting ready for a birthday and catching up on other stuff and catching up on sleep. And we went and we watched all of The Fall of the House of Usher over 2 days this weekend because we were watching Halloween stuff for my kid's birthday and they just wanted to keep watching. So that was a lot. I love that series. It's amazing. Spoilers Club was fun. Thank you, Firewriter. I'd like to bring it back. I just, organizing just the podcasts I have is a lot. And I need to figure out how I can streamline that. But again, I've been doing this 20 years and I'm just kind of like, you know what? Maybe maybe this is how I work. And unless I could get an actual staff on hand, that I could pay more than a small hourly fee that I give my very hardworking assistant, this is how it is. So, I've been working on podcasts. I'm very sorry to you guys, and I'm very sorry to the authors in that I have a couple of episodes I've sat on, and some of them are interviews. So I'm excited. Those two of them are out for Patreon right now. One of them is out for regular feed, and they'll be coming out next week. I'm not going to space them out via weeks because it's too late. It's far too late. I just want to get them up and out, and then I'll try to work on something a little bit more organized. I did figure something out, or there's a theory. When I was working really hard on the book, once I said I'm going to work on the book all the time, I was able to write from like 10 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. all day, every day. And I knew it was not a sustainable thing, but I was very surprised that I had maybe one day where the ADHD derailed me. But every other day I was able to just go in and sit down and focus. And I have a friend who said, maybe you need to work on one thing per day. And I'm considering that, because if I dedicate one day to writing and I write all day, I will get more done then than if I say I'm going to do writing in the morning and other things like podcast production or escape pod stuff in the afternoon, and I don't write at all. So I'm considering this option. I just need to figure out. I have the problem of when things are on fire, I want to fix everything, and so I bop from task to task when really I just need to focus on one thing and get all the fires put out, and then that fire won't come back to bite me in the ass later. That's a mixed metaphor, but I'm going with it. There is discussion in chat right now. I'm at a point in the story where I need the two protagonists to team up to defeat the big bad, but neither one has a motive to team up. Yeah, it's that kind of thing's rough. I kind of wanted my antagonist to be redeemable, and then when I look at the things they've done when their crimes come to light, there's one thing that I don't think you can easily come back from, and I don't want to tell you what that is because it's a big spoiler, but it's kind of like it was fun thinking Darth Vader could be redeemed, and then you see Anakin kill a bunch of children, and you're like, no, killing the Emperor does not balance that. I'm sorry. No, not at all. So, there is discussion on K-pop Demon Hunters in the chat. K-pop Demon Hunters is an amazing film. It's an amazing film. I wish I knew what made it so amazing, because, people who like fun films told me about it, and it sounded fun, and I wanted to watch it. But it's so much bigger than that now. There's people who didn't know anything about K-pop, which is kind of me, or people who don't like stories like that or something, but it's getting to be this massive worldwide thing. And, those of us who write stories are just like, oh, what did they do? But, yeah, it was, it's an amazing film. Anybody who's told you it's an amazing film, I know there are probably some of you out there who are the kind of people that like to just, the minute something gets popular, you kind of bounce off. I'd still say give K-pop Demon Hunters a try. I was trying to take notes about it for how to open a story, because you want to talk about in media res. It's the Huntrix, the group, is supposed to be on stage any minute, and their manager's looking for them, and they never explain this, but they're on a plane eating a bunch of junk food, like they're fueling up for the concert, even though they're on a plane going away from Korea. And they're chowing down on junk food and having a grand old time. And then they realize that, does their manager call them first? I think their manager calls them, and then they realize that everybody on the flight is a demon, and they're trying to kidnap them and kill them. And so it begins with this song where they're kicking the crap out of these demons, and then the plane splits in two, and so they just jump down to their concert. And they're demon hunters, so we figure, of course, they can fall from that height and still land and look amazing. But it's really exciting, and it's an exciting song, and it's very fun, and you manage to learn about them and care about them really fast, which I think is one of the things authors have a big problem with. Some people will make I'm running down the street away from somebody kind of thing. Someone's chasing me, but if you don't give your readers something to root for in your characters, it's going to be boring. No one's going to care that there's a high-speed chase going on when they don't know either the chasee or the chaser. But K-pop Demon Hunters really just establishes a lot in the first real scene. Yes, it does the background of why they're K-pop stars and demon hunters. There's a little, pre-story kind of storybook thing. But the actual first action scene, it's pretty amazing. Manager does indeed call. Thank you, Will. Yes. And hey, Will, good to see you. Underpope wrote a story about a redemption arc gone wrong, and it's being published next year. Who's publishing it, Underpope? Tree Lobsters tried not to like K-pop Demon Hunters because grumpy old man, but failed. It's lots of fun. Wild swings between goofy and serious, pushing all the emotional buttons. Yes. Demon flight attendant watering the plant with coffee. Yes, that was good. Underpope, is the story called Bullet Points, or is your where you sold it called Bullet Points? I do know one K-pop fan who really doesn't like it, the movie, because she says the K-pop stars don't eat like that, and fans don't act like that. I think she felt the movie did the fans a disservice, which is really funny because I thought, well, this is a massive, go to see the shows kind of K-pop fan. And she didn't like it, but... and Firerider says, Discord peeps can join me for a watch party on Sunday. Unfortunately, this won't go out to anybody listening to the podcast in time, but those of you watching, check it out. Yeah, I thought the fans did act like that. Okay, Underpope says the magazine is called Bullet Points. Excellent. So I've been trying to chase all of the ideas that I've had when I was writing. And if you're new here, I've been establishing something called the bullies, which are all the little things in your head that make you not write. And they could be things that masquerade as good things, such as the sponge, the nap, and the party, which all want you to do, they want you to write. They believe you're the best writer, but after you clean or see your friends or take a nap. And so, and then there are the scarier ones, like the Blade, which tells you that everybody else is better. And there's Despair, which tells you that, whatever you do is not going to be worth it. And there's also the one that is the problem. One of the biggest problems I have is the magpie, which is the three-headed, three-beaked bird that just wants you to do any other project than the one you're doing now. So I tried to keep track of how many things my magpie spotted. And one of them was writing a story via postcard that I send to Patreon people. I have not established what that is or what tier it's going to be, but I really like the idea. It's exciting to me. So I might be looking into that. Will says, I work with K-pop celebs and there's junk food eaten and fans are also intense like that. They even have a word for stalker obsessive fans, says Fire Rider. Yeah. Oh, I believe fans are intense like that. Fans are intense. There's intense fans with everything, but with K-pop, I feel like it's designed. It's like they are opioid pharmacy companies. They are making this drug and they make it as attractive as possible. And they know you're going to get hooked on it. And it bothers me how they pump up these stars so much that they can't actually have a life. But they still manage to entertain a lot. It's a lot of entertainment. It's really good. I can't help but like it. But I do sympathize. I don't know if they love the adoration without actually being able to have a lot of like relationships outside of their group. Maybe they're happy. I don't know. But I digress a little bit. I forget how many I've covered. I just posted the Tim Chihuahua story, or Tim Chihuahua interview that I did, where we talked about his new book, Salvagia, and talk about the party. But I still have the later ones, and the one I want to talk about today is the Imposter Cop. You can talk amongst yourselves because I got to find the Imposter Cop. Because I decided to add this before I was decided to add it right after I went live. And I don't know how to do the duo thing. I'll just have the Imposter Cop sit here in place of the spirit. There we go. How's that? There. Imposter Cop on the table. That's good enough. Okay. The Imposter Cop is the easiest one to describe. I made a postcard to hand out at Worldcon that says, if you're worried that they're going to find out that you're an imposter, the cop is there to say they already know. And the cop will be by your house shortly to arrest you for being an imposter. And while I do love the design, it is one of the most dangerous ones because we all feel it. There are people who can be bestsellers who feel it. There are people who win awards who feel it. There are people who have a very solid career with no sign of it waning who have it. And if we all feel it, then maybe the ones who don't feel it are the imposters, but we'll never convince them of that. I'll send you another one under Pope. Under Pope's postcard is no more. So it's, I don't know. I think the way to battle the Imposter Cop is looking at your life from the outside. Some people have said to try to, well, when you write your bio, you need to write it like someone else just looking at your resume. And if you don't lie on your resume, then, and you don't downplay your achievements, then, you want to write Mur Lafferty is someone who suffers from a lot of anxiety and is afraid that every book will be her last because she's so terrible at it. And no one listens to her podcast anymore. But if I look at, what I've achieved, I could say, wrote 8 books. One of them was a Star Wars book. Won a Hugo for podcasting. It's on paper, I look impressive. Why I can't feel impressive? That's interior. That's in here. And I know I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because it was a real eye-opener for me. When last year on the Joko cruise, I had a very fun evening, and like hanging out with John Hodgman, who I'm pretty sure does not remember me at all. But that's okay. I remember him. And then doing drunken karaoke. I can't sing at all, but I was enthusiastic and the crowd loved it. They were very, very appreciative. And it was just really one of those epic nights I hope I never forget. The next morning, well, I was tired and I was slightly hungover. And I felt like garbage. And I was just thinking about the fact that I feel low, I feel unhappy, I feel like I can't achieve anything. I feel like everything I create is awful. And I said, look, last night was one of your peak nights of like being a front-facing celebrity. Sounds really ridiculous, but you know, you're creator trying to make things for creatives. You get to meet other creators. It was just an amazing night, and it did not end in any bad way whatsoever. So what's wrong? And what's wrong is like, it's body chemistry. It's like, I was tired. I was hungover. I just felt crappy. And that affected my mood a lot. And it's so hard to address this because you want to believe when you feel bad, you want to believe that it's earned. You can't wallow if there's nothing to wallow about. And so if you're just feeling awful, like you're a terrible writer and nothing's ever going to happen for you, and you're just awful and terrible, and you can't finish a book, and if you finish a book, it's terrible, and if you actually sell the book, they're all wrong in the fact that they bought it in the first place. And the way to deal with that is maybe get some lunch, a nap, hydration. You don't want to think that your problems are real. They're very real. And it's offensive to think that a glass of water will help your problems or a nap will help your problems. But a lot of times it will. And I'm not one of the people that says you can exercise your way out of actual clinical depression, but you have to have the foundations of being good to your body down. You've got to have that down before healing can happen in any case. So I just see like exercise and eating right and sleep as that's just like a good solid foundation I put my antidepressant on top of. Battling actual common sense and allowing yourself to look at yourself from the outside is the best way to battle the imposter cop. One of the worst imposter syndrome feelings I've had is the first time I got nominated for a Hugo. And it was so thrilling and so terrifying, and they were going to find out. You know they were. And I actually asked a friend of mine, I said, I just got a massive award nomination and I want to do nothing but crawl under the covers. What is going on? And he's like, yeah, that's imposter syndrome. It's okay. Tree Lobster says, every so often I have to sit down and list all the things I've done to remind myself that, yeah, I've actually done some kind of cool stuff. Yes, Tree Lobsters, you have. And if you haven't sold anything, or you're new in your writing career, or pursuit, or whatever you want to call it, I promise you this, that there's so many people out there who want to write, but can't or won't. And they would look at you like a rock star. It's like, it's one of those things where this is the way I've been my whole life, wanting to tell stories. But I've had two very old friends from high school tell me recently, they don't know how I just make up stories. And my thinking is, I don't know how you don't. So it's like, if you're writing your stories down, you're more than a writer than a lot of people ever will have the courage to try to be. And that in itself is pretty amazing. I don't know how I'll act when my novella comes out. Will feel like a miracle. Will, you did not tell me you sold a novella. Can you tell us more about it, please? But yes, that's the big challenge, is being honest to yourself about what you have achieved. And if that achievement has anybody else to do with it, whether it's someone bought your book, or you got an agent, or you sold you're actually having a book published by a traditional publisher, then somebody out there thinks it's good enough. Like, when I had a lot of self-doubt with the Midsolar Murders series, starting that during the pandemic, and had a lot of rewrites, I just had to remind myself that they were not taking pity on me and just deciding, all right, this is good enough, we're just going to put this crap out there. Because, they're not going to do that. They're not going to publish Drek if they think it's Drek. They will keep coming to me for edits. So even though I was afraid the book wasn't good enough, the fact that they wanted to put it out, I'm like, okay, maybe someone thinks that. Pity publishing is not a thing. No, I'm sorry, Underpope, it's not. I'm going to take a little break, and we're going to break in the regular podcast, and then we're going to come back with stuff for the chat and for Patreon supporters. And if you want to listen in on the other half of the show, check out patreon.com/mightymur. And then you can join us about all the weird stuff we're going to talk about, including NaNoWriMo 2.0. But I'll see you guys shortly. If you're wondering what we cut out of this episode, you can go right now to patreon.com and download the unedited version, which people receive over there well before the podcast goes out to the public. You can also join the community of Mur's Fabulous, get free ebooks, access to our Discord, access to the archives, and more. Check it out at patreon.com/mightymur. Again, you're joining a community of really cool people. Patreon.com/mightymur. Talking with my assistant to get some people back on the show that we weren't able to get on last month or earlier. Again, The Princess Knight is out. Cait Jacobs. If you get it and read it before I can get her on the show, then you'll know what questions to ask. And so will I. Not if you read it, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so if you guys don't have any questions, we'll go ahead and end it. You can get in touch with me at mightymur@gmail.com. You can see the blog and show notes at murverse.com. I stream on Twitch Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I will not be streaming next week, which is October 25th. Anyway, next Thursday I'm not streaming. I'm on vacation. Yeah, it's time to stop because my brain just shut down. People who support via Patreon really help me get this podcast done, and in the way that I need to, in the way that I want to present for you guys. And the people who've supported get things like access to our Discord, access to the archives as I'm cleaning them up. We do mini conversations. We do many workshops at times, and I send postcards on occasion that I hope people find fun. So if you have a couple of bucks and want to send it to a creator, I'm here, patreon.com/mightymur. And if you can't support, then tell a friend or leave a review. Because I know things are hard and weird right now, and any support is good. Keep up the good work. When next we see each other, I think it'll be November. Halloween on a Thursday? Or a Wednesday this year. I can't remember. Anybody remember? Friday. It's on Friday. Okay, so it'll be October 30th when I'll be back. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And until then, you should be writing. Thank you for listening to I Should Be Writing, the longest running writing podcast in existence. This episode was made possible by the Fabulous, who support the podcast via Patreon or Substack. Join the Fabulous at patreon.com/mightymur or mightymur.substack.com. Theme music provided by John Anelio. Art provided by Numbers Ninja. And podcast hosting provided by Libsyn. This episode is released under Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 4.0 license. You can find all of my books and podcasts at merverse.com.
I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft, but I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who. Yeah, I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.